Maybe we can just go without them today. We'll see. Hello everyone. Sorry for starting a little bit late there. Didn't realize how quickly my timer was counting down. Oh my goodness, I'm just a mess today. But I'm feeling better, so that's good. Got some light on me now. Hope everyone's doing well. It's been a big day in the world of Netrunner. We've got standard Banlist 24.05. This is written by Jantuno. And this is, I think, going to be something of a shakeup, though maybe not, I think, as big of a shakeup as I was maybe hoping for. I think I should also shout out, imagine if you're watching this, you probably also saw, let's see, this video. All right, hello everyone. Apologies about that. This discussing Null Games developers discuss Rebellion without rehearsal. It's safer, and test run ends up being Dividus, who's head of dev, Safer, who joined during RWR, and Test Running, who is a playtester and is now part of dev, just discussing some of what happened in RWR and hopefully give a little bit of clarity on the process and what's cool about it. And there's also a link for if you want to join playtesting. There's a link in the description. And I really enjoy playtesting. It's honestly where I spend a lot of my Netrunner energy the last couple of weeks. People should apply to join. Hey Hank, great to have you here. All right, but we've got the ban list. The card I famously talked Andre out of not being in the Ban Me Please format, or in the Ban Me Please tier, is now banned. Oh, thanks, an odd radish. Yeah, we do have a new ban list. So, I would say for those of you living under a rock, but literally this is not even 12 hours old yet, so it's not exactly, it's, arguably this is breaking news. Maybe I should actually try and make a compressed little clip. I know Andre was talking about wanting to do it, so I don't want to steal his thunder. I have not been drinking enough water today, so I have two different sources of water in front of me, and they'll probably both get emptied in the first hour. But yeah, so we got some big bans. Actually, let me we're going to talk about cards, I think, for a bit. So let's get some cards up on in here. And sorry, I'm just doing some things. And all right, so first up, we have Bellona. Everyone knows this card, but I'm going to pull these all up because I think it means I can clip this at some point if needed. All right, so this is the first card on the ban list. I think this is I think probably the most contentious card that got banned on this ban list, and it just comes alphabetically on first. And I don't know how to feel about this. I am not a big NBN player. I think it's just not a style I've ever really clicked with. And NBN has been probably the strongest faction so far. Yeah, it's sort of an interesting one. Because I think it's NBN feels to me like it went from being the best faction, on average at least, to unplayable. Every NBN deck feels like it was predicated around this idea that if you got tagged, you were going to get some combination of you couldn't just sit on a million credits because of market forces. And then you couldn't play on you couldn't just be oh, I'll win on no credits because Bellona exists. And then it would be okay, well, they stopped playing market forces, but you know, it's, you know, they stopped playing Market Force for variety reasons, because like eventually runners were clearing tags and stuff, but then it's like, oh, okay, well now if you have a single turn, like we can just play Self-Growth Program and reset much of your rig, or if you're gonna float lots of tags, Shipment from Vlad will kind of score out the game. And a lot of these were predicated on the fact that Bellona was 9 points in every NBN deck that could not be touched unless you had like 15 credits. And it just feels like banning Bellona takes us out entirely. I'm going to be talking about cards I might have banned, because I think, and I don't want to say this as a I know better than SBT, just my approach is different, I think, than SBT's, and I think, frankly, their approach is more cohesive and collective, but I just, like, anytime something like this comes out, I think there is some impulse to say, what would the alternatives look like? And I think, like, I think the Bellona ban's kind of heavy-handed and not great. So Hank saying Kill NEH is probably playable. I actually don't think Kill NEH is playable. So we'll just quickly go to we'll go to Table Carnage, which I think is like the quintessential Kill NEH list right now. And it was playing 2 Degree Mills already, and 3 Bellonas, 3 false leads in the Tomorrow's headline, and it's like ultimate incorporation. And you cannot swap into Sam, send a message, and I don't think you can put with a straight face what's it called? A re-education in this list. I just don't think that works. Like, maybe there's a line where you can start playing Hollow Man, scoring a re-education, and then, like, false leading them off the table. But I just don't think that's correct. Hey, Balaram, we were sorry for not saying hello as you came in. Game of Troy's, I want a world where 3-point Beals are common, but it's probably just a straight top degree mill. So you can't just go to Beals and play 3-point Beals for 2 reasons. One, in deck building. That's actually the bigger reason. You just aren't allowed to only include 3 Beals. You have to put in 3 Beals and another 3 points from somewhere else, which is just actually kind of backbreaking. And then yeah, it's just not nearly as good at being defensive in the game. Yeah, and NEH Kill could make a lot of money because they would just click Regolith roughly. They would just empty an entire Regolith multiple times. Like, it was genuinely the deck could make a ton of money after a certain point because the runner was not allowed. Like, once a false lead was in the score area, the runner was not allowed to trash any of the board. But yeah, Baramu's saying Bellona Ban gets us closer to a world where Send a Message is the only available 5-3. Didn't we get a bunch of 5-3s in Liberation though? We didn't get an NBN 5-3, but we got a Jinteki 5-3 and a HB 5-3. So maybe you're talking about playable 5-3, but we have Salvo Testing, we have Fuji, and NBN got Basalt Spire, and Wayland also has SDS. So maybe we're going to see all the nasty prison decks move over to Wayland. But what I would say is, instead of banning our Bellona, I think Reality Plus was the better ban here. I think Reality Plus has been the overtuned card in the package the whole time, continues to be so, and some people are telling me that NBN is good enough, and maybe that's what we'll do, is we'll try to play these like asset NBN lists, and we'll just try swapping in we'll just have to replace 9 points somehow. And like maybe we'll be able to make the tempo off of R plus work, and we'll give that a look. But that's kind of my suspicion. And like, yeah, R plus. The thing about R plus is it takes other cards and makes it. In particular, I think it makes two things. I think it makes ping just kind of absurd. This is a, you know, we were talking. I think who is it? It was. Oh yeah, if you haven't seen this, I have to. If someone can find the link, because I don't want to do this while streaming. But Sid 7, former world champion. Also known as Jens, did a stream where he spent like 2 hours going through and like having people who have never played Netrunner try and rate Netrunner cards, and he had them rate vanilla, and like it took him a while, but they sort of figured out vanilla was probably good, and you know, I think it's like, oh yeah, ping is vanilla in R+, and then you also have stuff like, why am I forgetting the name of one of the most important NBN cards in the whole set? Oppo Research. Like, this similarly, like, yeah, this gets played for free and gives 2 tags. Oh, you're right, it was not Sid 7. I'm sorry. No, it was not Sid 7. I'm doing the reverse of a confusion that that someone else did. It was Silo 9, yeah. Or Sly 09. Okay, it also was not on this channel, so this is the least helpful thing. Let me see if I can find it very, very quickly. Oh wait, I commented in the thread, so it should be even faster. Okay. Just gonna start sounding stuff. Okay, let me see if I can get a link to this. There we are. Oh, I want to share this VOD. Why can I not share this VOD? Okay. So, I mean, don't leave my stream, but also, if you want to go watch that stream, it was a ton of fun. So that was Sly09 on, whose channel is this? Who also I think was a great sport about it, and I literally just closed the link and now I don't remember it. Oh, it was Thai Tuesday. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, to me, the Reality Plus is the card that was really warping here. The other card, actually, that AR enhanced, let me try and spell enhanced. We're seeing this a lot in these R plus lists, and it's just kind of like, again, this card's a good card anywhere, but it like takes these cards and turns them up to 11. Like, this agenda suite is incredibly cursed. 3 AR, 3 Bellona, and the Tomorrow's Headline. Like, basically the runner has to get tagged at some point, and that just propels this deck forward while also sending the runner back. I think it's just a little bit too good. And I don't know. I think what we're going to try and do is say, okay, what can we replace these Bellonas with and still have this deck kind of function? And the answer might be nothing. It very well could be that Bellona is the quintessential, the like linchpin for this deck. My concern is more that by banning Bellona, no NBN decks get to exist. So R plus would have been my first target, and like I've heard the argument. I don't know why SBT chose to ban Bellona instead of R plus. I feel like they're both ban list targets. Did they talk about why they did one over the other? Let's actually try and be okay, they're basically saying we'd wanted to remove Bellona for a while, but we think that cards like Hollow Man allow it to exist. So, yeah, no mention of Reality Plus here. which I think is kind of a bit of, I have not ever been convinced by any of the arguments that there's any other powerful card in the faction, but they don't talk about it, so I'm not going to try and attribute an argument to it. Next up, we have Knobkierie. This is basically targeted at mulch decks and loot decks, which the mulch decks have actually largely disappeared. I think the people that I had seen playing a lot of mulch had switched from Hoshiko to just playing Reg Hoshiko. A lot of the players that were playing Lu were still playing Lu. And yeah, I mean, Knobkierie was the engine. I've seen some people speculating about could Friday Chip replace this? And I think the answer is basically no. The Friday Chip is significantly weaker to purging. It also triggers at start of turn rather than on a successful run. And so this is SBT just saying we're going to ban the mulch lists out of existence. Which I don't think is it's funny, I don't like it, but I think it is understandable. I think it is fair to look at them and say, hey, this runner deck is keeping every single... It's just flattening what corps are allowed to be by a huge margin. And I think, the Snare Bearers were extremely high on Lu as the best deck in format. Let's go look at their reasoning rather than me try and speculate. Virus decks are very powerful alternative, more regular deck. However, the power of these decks has reached a point where it's problematic consequences. All the corps need to play multiple copies of virus to even have a fair game. Oh, I actually so if this is the justification that SBT has, I think this is a very bad justification. I think there are good justifications, which they could have said, which is Knobkierie imp decks are stifling creative and mid-range decks out of the format and are so strong as to be warping the entire meta. And we wanted to, I'm actually kind of frustrated with their explanation for these two bans, because I have been tangentially in conversations with some of the people on this committee, and I feel like these were not the reasons I was told these were being banned. But I don't know. That is unfair of me to say. And I think actually not true. Okay. No, actually, no, I'm misreading. Because to me, this sentence is saying, in the way where they dominate and warp the meta to an unhealthy extent. It's weird to me where I'm like, the rest of the sentence, the rest of this paragraph doesn't make sense to me, but this sentence is consistent with what I've said. Which is that this style of deck has been warping the meta in a way that they don't like and is unhealthy. And that's fine. I just don't like this writing style of a bunch of really soft things in front of it. That's actually what my complaint is here. Not that this is a disingenuous thing. Yeah. No, thank you, Gwen. This is what they're saying. I just don't feel like, oh, you need to splash my virus to have a fair game is a particularly compelling argument, considering that there's so many it's just not. I don't feel like that is a consistent argument with a bunch of things that we allow to exist in Netrunner. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's I think probably Knobkierie. I think the thing is, I don't know that there was another card in this deck that you could hit that would weaken it and still allow it to exist. And so you just had to choose as SBT, do you ban the deck out or do you just let it go? And I think they decided it was time to just let the deck, to ban the deck out. And that's fine. And I think to some extent, you could maybe look at the Bellona ban as a, well, Knobkierie was what was keeping Bellona in check, and so we have to let them go. Yeah, I went to go on saying labor rights could go. I don't see how any of the mulch decks will exist without Knobkierie. In general, I do believe you must spend influence to exist in the meta so that all non-Juteki decks are functionally down 3 is healthy, which dovetails into the explanation here. Milanomi, I assume you mean is not healthy, and I think I just fundamentally disagree with that premise, where Netrunner has always been a game, or not always, but effectively always been a game where there are ways that you have to spend your influence that are suboptimal. You spend influence to improve your matchups against decks, and like, spending Mavirus is a way to improve your matchup into the Knobkierie Lu deck. And so it was not actually mandatory, but it was helpful. I was playing, or if it was mandatory, that's okay, because it was this deck does really broken things, and it has the influence to spend. Oh yeah, I do feel bad for the people that have the alt art Bellonas, because that card, it was such a good alt art, as Orbital Tangent was saying. Actually, I think it's up on Always Be Running. If it's not, I have to go yell at myself for doing a bad job. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Oh no. Did I misspell Bellona? I did. Yeah. This is a great alt art. Because of the Trials and Tribulations, it got out relatively late, and so has not been playable for that many people that long, and I feel bad. But Balance Sheet did a fantastic job. This is not even the full art. The full art of this card is astounding. Just a great card. Anyway. Knobkierie banned, Bellona banned, other 2 bans. Tributary. So, yeah, I said this card was not in Ban Me Please, and now Andre gets to taunt and taunt and taunt me. This card got banned basically because it was keeping Criminal out of the contention. So for those of you who didn't watch my video, we don't talk about Tributary, so apologies that we can't give you that context. We actually discussed whether we should talk about Tributary. We all knew at the time it was going to be banned, and ultimately decided that the story, it wasn't the right venue for that story. So I'm hoping at some point we'll get the official side of like what happened with Tributary. But I think what I'll say is, like, playtesting is really hard. I have some personal reasons why I think Tributary got through on the way it did, and they are not the fault of individuals. They are the fault of there being a lot going on. But it's not my story to tell, so it is what it is. And yeah, unbanning Tributary means people can play Crim again. So maybe I can play decks that beat Crim and don't beat Reg Hosh. We also get Reconstruction Contract. This ban is not a power level ban. And this is basically hey, let's not make judges go through hell. And I think it's also a little bit of a, hey, Hollow Man probably should say plays advanced mechanics on a card that can be installed, or on a card that can be advanced, is what this should say. It just has too many lines. And so the Reconstruction Contract, Reconstruction Contract has had an issue for a long time, or rather, you could argue that OB has had an issue for a long time with Reconstruction Contract, where it is a pain to resolve. If the Corp has no face-up advanceable cards, and the Corp goes to resolve a Reconstruction Contract, they have to call a judge. A judge has to look at all of their face-down cards, and then say, yes, at least one of these can be advanced. And then the opponent is allowed to then do the search and resolve the effect on Reconstruction Contract. This can also happen in the middle of a game. If this was legal at NANPC Boston, I'd expect to have to explain this to a new player who is maybe playing their first major tournament because they got brought out by their friend. And that seems like a shit time for everyone involved. So I personally am pretty happy with this ban. As much as it sucks, Reconstruction Contract is part of one of my favorite decks of all time, and I think it has some really cool interactions. I actually almost like the card more when you can do sillier, more broken stuff with it, but I think once Ob came out, it's one of the two of these was going to have to give. And I suspect that, like, I really hope that Ob manages to just rotate out naturally. But I would not be shocked if at some point Ob eats a ban because of how it warps the space. So, yeah. Yeah. And what was it? Odd Radish was saying, I don't think it's true that Crim was kept down by Trib. It's the card pool and has been for a while. I don't agree. And the reason I don't agree is because World's second place finisher was Sable on the twinning. And like there was a lot of Crim at Worlds in 2023, and we're not that far evolved from that meta. I actually think, like, yes, Evolution's pushed us away from Crim, but I think Crim was actually pretty good for quite a long time and very recently, and it's like Tributary did kind of lock it out. Beeblum saying, does Ob really warp the design space? Yes. Ob warps the design space a lot. Just as a little playtesting example, if you look at Cyber Sand Harvester, which feels honestly like what is this? This card feels like it is a like Genesis era card. It's because it's an Ob. Design space. Yeah. Does Ob think about the meta space? I don't know if Ob really warps the meta space. That's an interesting question. I think, like, to some extent, we're kind of stuck with Hafren Stavka being a thing forever now because they're in the same set. And, like, maybe you just ban Hafren and, like, at some point and you keep going. But then you also get, like, I don't know, like, cards like Urban Renewal are always going to be and maybe you don't print Urban Renewal style cards, but, like, I think Ob has some amount of, like, this card is not great, or the interactions it can have can be unpleasant. And it's going to, like, you know, I enjoy Ob. I was talking a bit with Safer this afternoon, and I was like, oh man, Ob feels so good, and then recently it's felt really bad, and it was like, oh, Ob felt like the deck that could win without seeing Rashida, and his point was like, yeah, because it is so consistent, it's able to make up for not having the Rashida. I actually don't feel like you can not fire Rashida and win a game as Corp right now, which is, like, actually the other part of my concerns with the ban list, is that I don't know how Reg Hoshiko got hit 0 times. Like, this deck to me is just clearly the best deck in the format. I think it now gets to cut some influence and can do all sorts of funky things now and just roll over the entire field. And I don't feel great about that. Now, I've been told that I'm doomering, and so hopefully I am. I went to a meetup on Wednesday and, like, just lost 2 games back-to-back on turn 6 on Ob because my opponent slammed down a turbine, all of their breakers, and in one of those games they even had a second echelon. So my Stavron combo would not even have worked. Which, yikes. That was tough. So I feel very kind of meh right now. I feel like this was just sort of a hole in the ban list, and I don't really understand it. Now, I think genuinely fairly, a critique of my position is, hey Jeff, you've been saying Ari is almost as good as Hoshiko, and Ari got no bans and lost his worst matchup. Why are you not worried about that? And I would say I think that Arasana is always going to have more variance in draw, and Anarch right now just has, like, this was the thing that, like, I sort of knew was true, but hadn't played against good players. Yeah, actually, Eric is hitting the nail. Like, so, Ari's... I'll just read Eric's comment. Ari is a real deck with a real matchup spread. You can build a deck with 3x Magna that techs for Ari and has a reasonable strategy, and you cannot do that for Hosh. And yeah, I think that's the key thing, is, like, you can tech Ari, and Ari has to tech their deck, and Hoshiko just because it gets to be a pile of money and breakers and actually solve all the problems. And, like, people, I'm saying I don't feel scared of this until it has 2 boomerangs. I fundamentally, maybe you're correct. Maybe this list doesn't beat PD until it starts playing boomerangs. The thing I've started seeing is people just playing 2 turbines, and it's just like, fuck you if you're trying to use ice attacks, because they will have the full setup by turn 6. And it's just so efficient that it's kind of silly. And how you how you slow this deck down, I mean, to me, it's some combination of Bankar, Labor Rights, Strike Fund, Steel Skin, or Hoshiko. And I think ban Hoshiko is really the answer here. Like, people say, oh, you'll just go to the next best, like, Reg Anarch ID. And I'm like, yeah, the next best Reg Anarch ID is so much worse than Hoshiko that you don't see people even playing with it. Like, and, like, it sucks to ban IDs. I think it, like, I genuinely get why the SBT would be very, very hesitant to ban IDs. Every time you ban IDs, you are taking one of the most, like, flavorful and, like, impactful choices in deck building that people make, and removing it. And, like, especially when you look at NSG stuff, like, if you were to make a new runner deck and you click standard and you're like, okay, these are the IDs I had to, I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and cutting out 1/9 of your one of these cool choices is feels bad, right? But I think it was just a mistake not to ban it here. I sort of hope that my expectation. Hey, Augustus, I'm just doomering about this ban list right now. And complaining about how Hosh managed to avoid a ban herself, or, like, multiple bans to the Reg Anarch shell. Probably a labor rights ban plus a Banhart ban, so that there's at least some variance in the deck. I also, like, to be frank, I think Ari being good could very well may be just as oppressive and unpleasant as Hoshiko being good. The difference being Ari has not yet been the top of the meta ever, and Hoshiko has been top of the meta for most of the period between 2020 and today. And so, what if you ban Paladin and Mystic? I genuinely don't think it matters. Yeah, Augustus, I've also been, it's funny, I hear you saying, like, I think a Banhart ban is a really powerful card, it would be sad, and I also got told today by some very good players, no, you don't need to run Banhart, it's not that important to the Hoshiko deck. And I'm like, I don't think both are true. My argument for a Banhart ban would be that it gives Corp a window. It says, hey, you have, like, 4 turns where you get to do something. Um, and right now Banhart says, I hope you got the Rashida in the remote turn 1, because after turn 1 you need 2 ice, and like, you know, probably that's doable. And maybe we'll play some op later against Big Hosh, and we'll see if it goes as badly as it did for me against Daria and Holly. But yeah, there's collateral to Essa, but like, you know, it is what it is. I don't know. It's just, it's weird to me that it feels inconsistent to me, I should say, that we're going to talk about Banhart deck, or sorry, not Banhart decks, Knobkierie decks warping the meta, and not discuss the deck that has been winning the most events on the runner side. It just feels a little bit weird. I don't know. I don't love this ban list. I think it is good that a ban list came out. I think this ban list is probably better than not having come out, but I think this ban list could have been better. And that's sort of where I'm sitting on it. Okay, let's calm down. Let's take a deep breath. I'm going to take a sip of water. And refill some more, take a second sip. Yeah, Augustus, I respect a lot of Tuno's thoughts about this game. I don't think this article expresses its case very well. Like, I know Tuno to be a very, very thoughtful and eloquent person. And I don't feel like this is a... But, you know. Yeah. And that's not... Sorry, I want to be clear. This isn't like an attack or insult to them. I just don't feel like this ban list is communicating what the cards banned and the reasons given feel like they don't line up, which is a bummer. And maybe that, you know, a lot of that, I should say, is because I think I'm annoyed by it and upset about something in it. And so I'm like rationalizing back from this upset position to find something I can latch on to. So actually, I would ask, please do not complain to Tuno about their rationale in this list. Do read it and like think about what they're saying honestly, because I am not coming at it with that same approach and that same kind of healthy distance. And if you do want to complain about it, about the writing in particular, give it a couple days to cool down and settle in, because Tuno did take times to stop and think about this, and I want to make sure that before we go in and be critical, that we give them that space and the like emotional distance, because right now I think I'm not doing a very good job of that, and I'm a little bit annoyed with myself about that. So yeah. Yeah, and I think like Augustus, like the Knob ban, like I played Knobkierie Imp or Knobkierie Lou on Wednesday, which is my meetup day, I should say. I was like, oh man, this deck is so much fun. I wish I had played it more, because I got to play it against PD twice, I think, and it was super interesting matchups both times. Like, it was very down to the wire. It was back and forth. It was like decisions about, okay, where am I supposed to pressure right now? And it was super cool. But also, that is one of the only matchups that is that dynamic. And I remember playing the Lou deck on stream when it had first come out, and just like any mid-tier deck, you just rolled. You just blanked all their ice and rolled them. And like, I was playing a bad version of the deck. Like, it was a version of the deck that had cut both the Cleaver and the Buzzsaw for some reason. Don't know why. I just had. And so I like made my life much harder for me. And I think if I had had those, the games actually would have felt a little bit different. So like, getting rid of Knobkierie is probably, like, I think is a good thing to come out of this list. Tributary being gone is a good thing out of this list. And then Bellona, I've got very mixed feelings about. And then Reconstruction Contract, I don't mind at all. I'm actually pretty happy with it being gone. Its time is in the sun. the whole of other things feel bigger to me than the actual ban list itself, which is a bummer. Okay, we have a couple of things we can do today. So, I wish I could do polls, but I can't do polls across two things. Hey, Dave. Also, hello, David. I just want to say I see your comment. I'm sorry to see Tributary banned for my Tributary plus eavesdropping deck could manifest, but I agree it is probably for the best. Yeah, that was a funny little interaction. An odd rash saying I'm a little surprised by no unbans. I don't know what you could possibly unban from this list. Cyberdeck Sandbox, if you want to make PD even stronger. You could maybe unban Formicary and just hope that everything's okay there. Yep, nothing else on the corpse side can come off. Runner side, nope, 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 nope. Yeah, I don't know what you could take off this ban list. Genuinely, I would love to take crowdfunding off. But yeah. PGH Discord was saying we could unban Drago with Bellona and Rikoko out. I actually don't hate that, B-Blum. I think it'd be cool to have Drago unbanned. I don't think it is ever realistically happening. I think, I genuinely think if you ban R plus Drago, I think if you banned R plus Drago would be totally fine, even today. And that is a hot take. But I think that Drago ban is an R plus problem, not a Drago problem. And but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think at this point Drago is seen as a design mistake. Hey, Shen. No, but you did miss me complaining for 20 minutes that we didn't get a Hoshiko ban. Yeah, unban... I mean, make a restricted list for DreamNet and Hoshiko. You can have one or the other. So, Gwen, in some cases, decks... SBT has talked about why they haven't banned cards from decks. I actually think they talked about Knobkierie in the last ban list. Let's see if we can even see this. Drago Corporate Hospitality. But the nice thing is they can't do anything with it, right? That's the big difference. It's like, oh, they Corporate Hospitality install the Drago. They're not going to do it. Their next turn is maybe advance, give you a tag, I guess, right? But that's a little different from the Archive Memories interactions. Maybe it's not. Oh, wait. It's not going to be anything. Wait, did they mention viruses? Oh, it looks like D did not. Okay, I thought there was some discussion of viruses, but I think there was not in this ban list. At this point, if Hoshiko reaches 99% run representation, I'm convinced they'll ban out half the Shaper pool. I appreciate the joke there. I do think, frankly, that Turbine does need to get banned too. But I do think there is some merit to trying to, as someone who is both head of OP and someone who plays the game a lot, I'm a little bit annoyed this ban list, I think, feels like an experiment. I think experiments are great. I actually think experiments are a really important part of the meta, and I think they're great. I think there's a double-edged sword about them happening around Continentals. One, we're going to go into Continentals with a really unknown meta list, sort of. I feel like everyone's just planning against Hosh, right? And part of the reason you do an experiment like what the current ban list feels like is so that you can recalibrate and come up with more intelligent bans for the next one and start tuning your meta a little bit better. Daria, I would argue it is, because we have not had any that this is an unknown meta, because I think other than the AMTs and the fly to EMEAs have felt kind of like AMTs. The fly to EMEAs have felt kind of like AMTs, and that's a little bit unfair. Like, they do have higher stakes. I just haven't found that the attendance or competitive level has been that much higher than stuff like the AMTs. And so I sort of feel like a lot of the larger, or like, there have not been large events yet since RWR was released where people have said, oh, here's what the meta was. Okay, a couple weeks later, here's how we're going to try and beat that meta in the next large event. And so doing this right before Continentals gives you this like cycle. And the cool thing about Continentals this year, cool arguably, is that you're going to have 2 weeks between metas. So you actually have time to practice and tune and think about the meta and see if it evolves. And that will give the SBT some time to think about, reflect, and hopefully come up with a different ban list for Worlds. So, yeah. And like, you know, I think the reason, Daria, I was kind of saying that like, oh, stuff is good and bad, I was like, well, we're seeing all these corp decks show up, but I feel like a lot of them would fold to Lu and Mulch Hosh, and so it was not clear to me if the Reality Plus asset decks were a real problem, or if it was the fact that no one was playing their anti-asset decks. And now we don't get to find out if actually these anti-asset decks were better than the Knobkierie Lu decks. We just have to move on from now. But yeah. Are there any rumblings about an update to the startup ban list before Worlds? David, I have not heard anything, but I don't pay any attention to startup unless it comes across my path for other reasons. I am not a big... I think startup has done good things for the game. I have never found the format to be something I particularly want to engage in, and I didn't put out a video... Like, the video I put about getting into standard last meta was to try and convince people to skip over startup. And I think fundamentally for me, a lot of the set design is around standard. And so that is always going to be, like, or the majority of the time, that is going to be the better experience for players. So that's why I spend more of my focus on standard. But if you feel like startup needs a ban list, and I would be a little surprised if some level of startup panel did not convene before Worlds, you'll probably hear a call for looking for members for our startup panel sometime in the next few months. Might be a little bit after Continentals. Continentals is finishing in July, so getting a committee formed in August, decision out in September, would probably early to mid-September would be fine. So, yeah. Anyways, we have a couple of options for what we can do tonight. 1, we can play some Reg Hosh. 2, we can try and build some NBN decks. 3, we can play some Op. 4, we could get a couple of volunteers and we can try out an auction draft. I'm mentioning this one, we might do this towards the end of the stream or in a little bit. The idea behind the auction draft is everyone has a fixed pool of money, and then cards will show up for auction, and then you have to there'll be basically a slightly gamified fast bidding system, and if you win the card, you get to put it in your deck, and then the idea would normally be that you would play a cube. I want to try out an auction draft with a automated auctioneer. I don't have a truly automated auctioneer. I have a script I wrote on my computer that I would need to transfer. But this was something that we talked about in Stim Slack this week, and I was like, oh, I could do this based off of Trash or Busta really quickly. And so I made a little bot, or not a little bot. I made a tiny script. Oh, okay. No one has touched Trash or Busto in the last couple hours, right? I basically made a script that you'll say, oh, I want the top N cards. I want to split them up into like a couple of groups, right? So like, oh, I want to split. I have 60 cards. I want to split them into quartiles. So, oh, I picked a bad number. No, so groups of 12. And then it will randomly select in the order of cards in that group of 12. So it'd be like, okay, we're going to randomly choose the order of these first 12 cards, and they'll go up for auction in some random order. Then we'll do the next 12 cards, and then the next 12 cards, and the next 12 cards. Or wait, 60 is 15. Sorry. 15, 30, 45, and 60. And I also have it set up so that you could intentionally have some amount of like, hey, I'm going to do 80 cards, but only auction off 60 of them and 20 power cards everyone can get. So I think there might be some fun in doing like planning to see like, okay, how far can we get in an hour, and do some stuff like that. So maybe what we'll do, we'll play some stuff, and then I will do a roll call for people that are interested in volunteering. And we'll give it a shot. Okay. So, let's try to build one of these NBN decks. Okay, so my thesis is that Reality Plus is the card that should ban, so I should probably be playing it. AR Enhanced Security sounds good. Spin Doctor sounds good. Tomorrow's Headline sounds good. Let's see. So, what are we looking at? Let's go and look at, actually, before I get too far over my skis here. Let's go and pull up one of these lists. Okay, so we're spending influence on Warm Prototype and Warm Reception and Working Prototype. I think we're doing a Cannell style list. I think there is a possibility that Burner becomes much better with Bellona gone. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but okay. We probably want some federal fundraisings, right? Yep. Okay, let's do like some false leads. I think this is almost certainly bad, right? But I'm very tempted by this freedom of information idea. Because if the idea is that we're going to have we're on 2 Amani Sinais, right? Oh, 3 Amani Sinai, okay. Not crypto. So crypto is actually, here's why not crypto. Because the runner doesn't have to steal a Bellona anymore. They can just steal 3. Right? They can just steal 7 from us without Bellona. Like, what ice... Like, they click for a credit and can beat a ping. Leech, Turbine, Buzzsaw, click for a credit, they beat a message chest throw that's unadvanced. VSA, they beat for a credit. Like, we don't need to play Hammer anymore. But it's like, that would be my concern with Crypto Crash, is we score it and the runner says, okay, I'll go and steal 7 points anyway, right? So, I don't know. We'll cut these for crypto crashes in the next version of the deck. Oh, 19 points. So we drop a freedom and we put in another false lead. And then we do a Lady Liberty. Put one Seraph in, please. Maybe. I doubt it. Okay, we're on pings. I guess another thing they could have looked at banning is like Cleaver. What's Anarch's Fractor if you ban Cleaver? Do they have a Fractor if you ban Cleaver? I guess you have Corroder, right? I don't know, maybe that's the right ban. That would be a format destabilizing ban. But it's an interesting one. Okay. B1001. Sure. We'll have to cut slots somewhere, so we'll have to figure that one out. Self-growth. And then I kind of want to do a single Gaslight, and then we're going to do Oppo Research. 2 Hollow Mans. Actually, yeah, Hollow Man becomes better now that we can fast advance literally everything in our deck. Though it becomes very expensive because we don't get to okay, so we're at 49 cards. Oh, this list is at 49 cards. Let's go see if there's a 40 card list that looks good. Yeah, okay. Oh, this is a very, very different list, though. This is like a completely different list. Okay. Let's go check Always Be Running quickly. And see if everyone's just playing 49. Where's Cambridge Circuit Opener? This was not won by N. Let's take a quick look. Okay. Standard AMT, APAC time zone. Did not see it there. Where are we? Emerald City Grid. Second fly to EMEA. This was the one that was all... Okay, that was this one. Let's take a look at this one. This is 44 cards. Okay. So let's grab this shell instead. We'll cut some cards to make this work. Okay, so okay. Yeah, cut the B1001s, I think makes sense. 5 operations, 8 agendas, 3, 3, and 3. So the problem right now is that we need to... Wait, how are my 9 cards too many? So I need to cut the Lady Liberty, the Gaslight. I'm just going to play this. My 3 extras, the Gaslight, the Lady Liberty, and the third Amani Sinai. And then we need to cut like even more stuff. I wonder if we can cut this Maryland for slots. Cut this for slots as well. And look at something. What's a good... I was about to say cohort. which is like my favorite card to put everywhere, but it doesn't actually use up our influence very well. Let's go look at assets quickly. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but could we just play a Hearts and Minds? What does it do? It puts counters on Mess and Chesto, so no, that's all it does. Do we just play a single Audacity? No. Oh, darn. Bass, Clearinghouse, Hearts and Minds, MCA. We could do a cheeky moon pool. We have 12 agendas right now. We're going to cut none of them. Okay, so we need to cut 2 other cards here. What are the 2 worst cards here? Yikes. I now understand why this deck was playing so many. Okay, so it's like cut the false leads. Yikes, that's a bad agenda suite though. I don't know why more false leads is better, but it kind of is, right? Is it though? I think you just can't have this many one-pointers. Okay, so do we just play a singleton degree mill? What does the moon pool do here? So the idea, I guess, was that it could fast advance an AR or a false lead onto the table, right? But you then actually need the false leads in the deck for that to be the case, right? The idea is like, oh, you're probably going to get a little bit flooded. And so you want to moon pool to handle the flood. Okay. You could cut 1 false lead, 1 freedom of information, and put in a single remaster, or not remastered, my goodness. Degree mill. And now we just need to cut 1 more card. I think it might be the shipment from Vlad. Maybe it's the Hollow Man because we have less money now that we don't have Bellonas in the deck. Well, we also have Spin Doctor and Federal Fundraising. Like, we have a lot of flood control in theory. We actually maybe want to be a DBS deck rather than a Federal deck, but I think Warm Reception makes us rather be a Federal deck. No, let's cut a Mess the Chest Foe and put a Hollow Man back in. Okay. Hey, Andre. Okay, let's go over to Jinteki. Let's get this in. And we'll see if this list does anything. I suspect it doesn't because I've made a bunch of bad choices. But that's nothing new. We're about to find out. And by about to find out, I mean I took other people's good decks and made them way worse. I think NBN's completely cooked, frankly. I think the whole faction's built around yellow. I think the whole faction was built around Bellona. But we'll see. I could be wrong. I have been wrong about many, many things. I just kind of don't see a world where... like, I don't think Reaper and EH can survive without Bellona because it needed to pressure your economy by making trash assets, and then you couldn't win off of stealing. And Degree Mill, it was already playing and doesn't have a good replacement. Okay, do I just put Starlit behind AR and a working prototype here? Okay, so we're gonna go Spin Doctor, AR enhanced, working prototype. I guess this was a bad keep because we don't have Oppo to actually back up this play. And there's a world where I'm supposed to put the Amani down so that I can do nonsense, but I actually don't think I want to here. Okay. This is interesting. I don't think it's particularly impactful. I think this is still just worth doing. Do I want to res the Spin Doctor first here? No, I think... Actually, yeah, we could just res everything here. Score. And probably just discard the Degree Mill. The thing I don't like about res everything is Welsh Bunny can just go and... Oh, I guess they can't go and trash our stuff because we'd give them a tag, which is just like, yeah. I think Reality Plus should have got the ban, and then NBN could still be a faction. Oh, it was not well-structured argument. It was just pure complaining. Okay, let's go R&D, Amani Sinai. Click for 3. Hoshiko won't get banned until it wins a different card games worlds. That's very good. Alright, yeah, you can take a tag. I've gotten 3 credits off a working prototype. That's really all I need. We'll draw 2 cards here. Flip switch to drop a tag. Run HQ. Spin Doctor access. Probably a good time to trash it. Time for the Living Legend out. Yeah, completely agree. Okay, so I think this is just false lead. Paying. Maybe my false lead doesn't actually make sense with anything I'm actually doing in the deck. That could be the case. Because, like, what am I doing? I'm oppoing them. Oh, and then I get to, like, ship it from Vlad, win the game, right? So that's what I'm doing. Though I cut the Gaslight, so, like, that's a very difficult plan to make land. I think you actually have to trash this here. Because if you don't, I get to cycle a Spin Doctor and just gain a ton of tempo for very little here. And again, this is, I think, why R+ is a little bit fucked. Maybe you could have banned AR Enhanced Security, But I think R+ is the fundamental function of being the fundamental issue. Okay. Yep. So I'm going to gain 2 credits here. It's important if I'm going to try and score out next turn. This is the Imani Sanai. Welsh Bunny Girl could trash this here. Would not be a terrible idea, I think. But being on 4 credits and then actually going down to 2 is probably bad. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, like, there are 3 ones that don't warp the game. They just don't see any play. Because they have real deck building costs. That's why 3 ones are work the way they do. Yeah, I'm going to trash a resource here. I'm going to put down a Warm Reception. And I'm going to put down a Hollow Man. Like, you know, this deck list is bad because it's running all these 1-pointers. It's running 11 agendas and 44 cards. Literally 1 in 4 cards are agendas here. That's really, really bad. And it's like, yeah, False Lead and AR are extremely warping, but it is just bad for me to be running both. Game of Droids, genuinely, I don't think Hyperloop would make a pretty fun 3-1s. Or rather, they on their own are fun 3-1s. The issue is that they are too low power level to see play in decks that can use them in fun ways, and so you only see them in Sports Metal. Which, you know, has its own set of problems. I think we'll just put tomorrow's headline out on the board. De-res the Spin Doctor. Do I want to self-growth program these 2 cards back into their hand? I think I'd rather score this False Lead here. Do I? No, I'd be on 0 credits then. I don't have any Regalists in here. My money is just hoping the runner tags themselves a bunch, I guess. I think that's probably enough money. I'll probably return this tomorrow's headline to my hand if I had to guess. Oh, they can return the Spin Doctor here. Oh, okay, that actually makes more sense. But I was supposed to re-rest the Spin Doctor here so that I don't give up 3 points for free here. So yes, I was supposed to bounce the Hermes. Ooh, yeah, I'll gain 2 credits here for you trashing a fundraising off the top of R&D. I'll res this Spin Doctor here, so I'm gonna lose more points here. How could I have scored headline with credits left? For one, I installed it with Warm Reception, so I couldn't actually score it that turn. And then I think there was some other issues there of it costs too much. But I think I'm not going to de-res anything here, but I am just going to get some free reses. Because we're just going to do 4 installs. Oh god. This just feels like... I mean, I don't know that the opponent's deck is, like, super real. We're just doing this. But I wouldn't have had a click because it would have been click, click, click to advance, right? Okay, so this list 100% needs... I now understand why the Marylands were in the list. Maybe the working prototype is fine. This list feels like it is running too cheap for those things. Oh, I probably shouldn't have put the Rashida behind the ice, but... let's gain 2 here. So let's see, if I move this, I spend 6. I don't have it. Okay, we're gonna see a federal fundraising. Okay, they're gonna steal tomorrow's headline, so I don't even get to do that anymore. And are we gonna single R&D here? Okay, let's res the federal fundraising. Mandatory draw, federal fundraising. We're gonna look at the top 3 cards of R&D. Okay. We're going to put Starlit Knight on the bottom, then a Spin Doctor, then an AR. Then we're gonna draw a card. We're going to install a ping on R&D. I don't think we're going to de-res the Spin Doctor here. Then we're going to self-growth. Okay, when does threat 4? So we need to score a 2-pointer here. You know, if I do draw the freedom of information here, I feel quite good. Why are we installing an SMC on 0 credits? Okay, we'll have to find out later, I guess. Federal fundraising, the top 3. Okay. Beal, Starlit Knight. Done. No. Starlit Knight on R&D. Done. So I could triple advance this Ares. I think that's probably okay. I don't think there's going to be a swap here. I don't think there was supposed to be a swap here. Okay, so we're going to shuffle because I don't want to draw 2 Beals here. Let's put back self-growth and a working prototype. Federal fundraising, we're going to look at the top 3. Okay. Message Expo, ping, self-growth, done, yes. Oh, this was not quite the correct order, but that's fine. No D-reses. Credit. Credit. No, let's undo that. Click. Let's pretend that burner exists. Okay. Yep. A little punished here. And we'll get back to the Spin Doctor as well. I guess by not shuffling back the Spin Doctor, I was signaling there was a Spin Doctor on the board, so I should have shuffled back a Spin Doctor and the other card. Alright, so are we going to get the Turbine here? Oh, I don't like this. So I also know the top card of R&D, so this isn't an agenda. No trashes though, so I don't get to Oppo. Oh, we're going for a deep... No, we're not going for a deep dive unless we're going to SMC for a Pishisao here. But they've already missed their window if I don't res. So I need to make a little video about that interaction because it's a very weird one. Oh. 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 We win in 2 turns? Okay. So we're going to go Degree Mill, Shipment from Blad, Freedom of Information. Done. We will not draw a card. We're going to install... nothing. Derez nothing. Install on server 5. Score a Freedom of Information. Let opponent make a choice here. Then we're going to self-growth just to have something to do. And then if my federal fundraising lives, we win next turn. So I'm just going to click for a credit so that we can res the Starlit Knight. Okay. Opponent is deciding to trash the federal fundraising now. They're definitely not stream sniping, but I'm going to accuse them anyway. Oh wait, I can just draw 2 cards here and I win anyway. Never mind. Because I guess they could cleaver in and steal away the win. They can cleaver in and steal the win here. That's a funny one. Okay. Has my audio been quiet? It looks like it's okay. Okay. Well, they don't steal the win. Degree Mill would also be very annoying for the steal. Server 5. Shipment from Vlad. Advance and score. I feel like it's would cook with that SMC that much, to be honest. Yeah, no, agreed. No, there's no way that Welsh Bunny Girl was stream sniping. It's just a funny. It is purely a joke. Okay, I need to go to stimhack.com. Let's see. There's the... oh no, where's the... Is it older? Hold on. All articles, assets. Assets, what? Oh, it's on the next page, obviously. Here we are. Yes, perfect. This is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think in terms of mistakes, Cass was fairly backbreaking. And then leaving the Federal up for that long can feel bad. Lot. But biggest thing is really it looked like you either didn't pack enough econ or didn't draw into it. What does Tau need to be real in this matchup? Actually, I mean, like, trick shot. Like, I think, like, oh, one sec. Oh, hold on, my mom is calling. Alrighty. So, what does Tau need to be real in this matchup? Getting pretty sure early is great. Trick shot is important. Burner is pretty handy. And then understanding what's trash and what not. I think, like, even though I'm saying, like, oh, I felt like not trashing the Federal was suspicious, I think there's a line as Dow in this list where you just don't trash the board. You have to trash Hollow Mans, but you like trash Hollow Man, clear your tags, and just check to make sure nothing is sneaking by you on the board. Like, in this case, like, the pitfall of that strategy is when you check, find an agenda, and then get oppoed. But you can kind of play this balancing act of waiting on your multi-access until you're at, like, when you get to threat 3, you can sit back, let the NBN deck get to threat 3, and then start sprinting across the board and, like, go for a big push to end the game. At least theoretically, to me, that's how I might approach this if I'm playing a Shaper matchup that doesn't draw into a lot of money early. You know, we can, if I go back to, like, turn 1 here, right? So, like, this is probably honestly a bad keep on my part, but if opponent just goes check, 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 they steal the AR, and worst case that happens is they take 2 tags next turn. And, you know, oh well. But, like, it's kind of okay. Yeah, so Gwen, my biggest suggestion would be to also, if you're not playing Dirty Laundries, I would really look at those as well. Like, I think you can build, especially honestly now, you can just build a list that's all money all the time. I'm just trying to look at your hand a bit here. Yeah, like I think this warm reception is an unfortunate card that you do probably have to trash. Oh, let's get the things right so we see that you have a tag here. Yeah, I go back and forth on this Imani Sanai. I think there's possibly a world where you don't. I think you're doing it to so that you can install the daily casts, but you don't have the choice here. So another thing is I'm probably not clearing a single tag here. I might click for a credit and then VRcation last click here. Reason being, we need to draw cards to get us back in the game, and going like spending the tempo to clear the tag here. Oh, this run is also, I think, pretty bad because it's never going to end well for you, right? Like running on 0 credits is something you, especially on click 4, I don't think is a good idea. Though this sort of pressure is very good. I don't know exactly what your win condition is, or if you're on deep dive or something else. Yeah, I think actually not playing the VRcation here looks a little bit suspect because, like, one of the things that assets tend to do is click compress you. Like, this run on R&D, I don't think is... to me, feels like more of the mistakes that were made this game were these sort of, like, I'm going to try and get a single on a central. Your assumption at this board state is I'm not presenting... And, like, a thing that is very difficult to evaluate when playing against assets is... Are they presenting a threat to me right now? And the secret is they often are not. On 2 credits here, and Federal and Warm Reception, I did those in the reverse order, right? The worst I'm going to do is draw some cards and install some cards. So next turn, I'm going to have a lot of threat. So you have 2 choices here. You can say, I'm on 7 credits and 5 tags. The most important thing here is to ensure that Jeff does not draw into any of his good stuff. And so he also has not installed off of this Warm Reception a couple of times. And so if I trash this Federal Fundraising, I'm going to slow down his ability to access, to get things on the board. And that's probably the way I'm going to win. And so then we can say, okay, I'm going to trash the Federal and then VRcation. And I am just stuck in tag hill for the rest of this game. So all my assets are blank. And I'm probably going to be giving Jeff 2 credits a turn every time I decide to interact. But in this case, trashing the Federal is probably worth it because Jeff's last couple of turns have been really mediocre. Like this turn is install, click for 2 credits, and then install a piece of ice on HQ. So this suggests that he maybe has an important card in HQ, but also did not put any new threats on the board. So getting the Spin Doctor out was very well done. I'm kicking myself. I think a play more likely to get you to not do the Spin Doctor. Like I think you would be threatening a deep dive here, but you spent a click for a credit, which kind of just means I don't have to respect that anymore. If you go after the Federal Fundraising on this click 3 and then play VRcation, you're not going to need a Turbine. You're not going to need a Simul Chip in this matchup. Unless you're playing the Simul Chip the Parisha, you maybe can get away with just one SMC. Like, you have some good potential draws here. Or you could have a line of install Hermes and then VRcation, which gives you some more choices. And say, you know what, I'm going to give Jeff one more trigger on the Federal Fundraising because I haven't taken a tag yet this turn, and so that's okay. The Federal Fundraising ends up scoring me a Freedom of Information, which is not great. And then we sort of... finally we go and attack that. We take another ping. Like, you're doing a good job of saying, hey, you can't get all these tags at once. You actually have a 1 in 5 shot at getting to 5 here. I I was supposed to uh, false lead you here. Because if I click false lead here, I win the game. That's just a thing I need to figure out. But yeah. So to me, the things to think about if you're trying to learn from this as I'm trying to learn how to play against assets, figure out what their threats look like. Just like you wouldn't run against an empty remote in PD, and you wouldn't, when there's an agenda in the remote with no Hermes down, try and get a single, like, it's this weird thing where it's like, okay, if I'm playing against PD, I don't have a Hermes down, and they've just put an agenda in the remote, I should not run through a drafter on R&D. But we did see, and this is not a calling you out thing. This is a thing I see all the time against people do against asset decks, which is, I don't know what to do. Let's run R&D for a single, and not worry about the cost. And it's like a play pattern we don't do against other decks, but we do it against assets, and it's a common play pattern that doesn't make sense if you like. It's like, okay, if I take all these cards and instead of thinking about them horizontally, I think about them vertically, like the play line almost becomes clearer in some ways, which I think is kind of a weird thing. All right, let's do another game. Oh, I'm probably gonna have to reload this. Let's try and do this and see if it leaves my lobby up. Fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. Assets are hard. I'm not particularly good against asset decks, so maybe some of the better players here can correct me on my thinking. But but yeah, let's see. We are an hour 43. So I think after this game, we'll try a mini auction draft. We'll do it. Let me see if I can find the spreadsheet, and I might try and get that going. Let's see. Oh, and here comes Not again. Playing Essa. Interesting. This is not a good hand, so we're going to mulligan. This is a better hand. Not really, actually. So let's go here, here, here. Banhar, not my favorite. Not the end of the world either, though. This is my Spin Doctor. I'll res it to draw 2, but take no further actions. Alright, we're going to Running Hot. I don't think I'm ever playing this mess in a Chestvo. Losing on a -9 does stink. Warm Reception's probably going to get taken down. I probably shouldn't, though, I think. Yep, Not again, I think actually correctly saying, no, what are you going to do to me? So I could pay 1 to then click for a credit. Seems okay. So I'm going to go install, gain a credit, oppo, gain 2. Turn 2 oppo feels okay. Are we going to trash a federal fundraising now that an oppo's down, a Spin Doctor's down? I think looks like it. I'm going to resolve another Running Hot. 2 more off the top. That's 2 Amanis, a self-growth program, which is a pretty good card in this matchup. And now we're going to click up to 4 and probably clear 2 tags. If not, I can actually just score this Freedom of Information next turn, which seems like not the worst idea. Okay. I'm going to go draw, credit. Oh yeah, not again. Actually, also has to worry about the Banhar trash, which is a thing that I have the option to do if he ever ends a turn tagged. So we're probably gonna have to try and rely on that. I might just do ping in tomorrow's headline to give not again 2 tags here. Boomerang and labor rights gone. Okay. Let's go server 4. We all still are. I can trash this warm reception. So how many cards are we going to lose here? False lead. 2 trash a Hollow Man. Okay, that's way better than I should be here. And we somehow managed to avoid any Essa Mills as well. So the question is... No. I'm a credit short of this play, right? Oh no, I'm not. I'm credit perfect. This is nice. Okay. So I'm going to go... Oh, shoot. That's res the Hollow Man. Move Hollow Man to server 4. Done. Done. Place an advancement count. Place 3 advancement counters. Score tomorrow's headline. Gain 2. Let's trash a resource. And click for a credit. I'm not going to go for the Rashida line because I genuinely... I'm holding too many points in hand right now, I think. Maybe that's wrong, but... yeah, maybe I'm not even supposed to... Okay. Draw. Let's go new remote. Res gain 3. Alright, now again has a single tag. We can freedom of information score at some point. But we're probably going down 5-2 here. Begamot is an expensive way to deal with pings. For 2 seems a little bit funky to me. Oh, let's do that. Okay. We're gonna go res, 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 gain, gain, gain. Okay. So we made a very expensive weird regolith. We've got 4 points in hand, so we're going to trash 2 more. Shipment from Vlad. At some point, I need to start drawing things. Federal fundraising is probably the most important card in this board state. Opponent has to discard a finality and a marrow, which feels pretty good for me here. Let's federal fundraising first. We'll look at the top 3. I guess it's going to be VSA and R&D. So we're going to go Oppo Research, 3 mil, VSA, done. Draw a card, warm reception, install VSA on R&D, derez a federal fundraising. Will not move Hollow Man to another server. I think I will install AR and then fast advance score and AR enhanced. Now Starlit Night doesn't actually have any text yet, which is tricky. Res, start the turn, mandatory draw, federal fundraising. Look at the top 3. VSA, Beal, Oppo, done, draw, warm reception. Mill in a new remote. Derez federal. Will not move Hollow Man. Res. Click a Regolith 6 times. Okay. Yeah. So not again is going for a running hot. Hippocampic gets back up to hand size. Our hero is not dead yet. Yes. Okay. AR is fine. Warm reception. Ping. Start over. We're going to go warm reception. AR. Ping. Done. Yes, we'll draw a ping. We will warm reception the ping onto archives, I think. Derez the federal. Move the Hollow Man to server 8. Place 4 advancement counter. Oh, Okay. Today we live and we learn. Alright, so Hollow Man has to go down this turn, or we get to fast advance out of hand. If Naligan takes another tag for some reason, we also win. Without the... Oh, yeah, Hollow Man... So Hollow Man has to go down, and then also a tag cleared here. Server 8. Advance, and score. Yeah, that is a weird condition where, like, it's going to be one of those things that you mess up in paper play a bunch. Yeah, it happens, Daria. It's it's pretty normal, I think. Okay, should we do an auction draft? If you would like to do an auction draft, we've got what, 30 people in the server. Um, yeah, I should have scored the freedom. It is more fun. It actually it does seem like you're going to get people into potentially a tag hell. I think we haven't seen people go absolutely punish this list in ways that I think it seems very, very punishable, right? Like, well, all of these games, we're all playing them at 0 credits, and that's where a Bellona ban hurts the most. But maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so what I'm going to do... I'm going to hop in a channel here. Wait. 30 minutes. 10 uses. Okay. If you want to do an auction draft, please feel free to join this Discord call, and I will probably give priority people to do that while I go and get some auction stuff set up on my end. The idea behind an auction draft is that I'm going to pull up some stuff. I'm going to pull up cards. Let me see. Oh. Okay, let me get this going. So we're not going to do a full auction draft. We're just going to try it out, and then I'm going to get some feedback from people. We can fit up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be 8 people. This is going to go for about an hour. So that's the basic idea. The way this draft works is a card comes up for auction, and then everyone's going to we're going to have 2 bid, where it's basically there's 2 bidding rounds. In the first round, you put a value oh my goodness, wait, hold on, here are the rules. Okay, players have 10 seconds to so the thing that's going to change is instead of there being a draft nomination order, I am going to do a nomination. I'm also not going to be playing in the auction draft. I'm just going to be running it behind the scenes. Let me move my face for this. This is probably a better spot. Okay, the way this is going to work. So I'm going to pull out a card for people to draft. Players have 10 seconds to simultaneously enter a proposed price in white on the first line. So what we're going to do is oh, this is kind of backwards. Okay. Oh, I should make a copy of this. Okay. Okay. And for those of you that are joining, please feel free to just like hop on in the Discord. Or I guess actually I'll to hop into the stream voice. Feel free. Okay. So players will have 10 seconds to simultaneously enter a proposed price in the first line. And then I, as the auctioneer, will change all the text colors. So actually what we're going to do, this should be in reset. So the text color here should be this light green, so that when I enter a number, you cannot see what this number is. Then I will go and select the whole line and then change all the text colors to black. Then people will have 10 seconds to simultaneously select a bid from the listed prices. The highest bid wins. If tied, the player's proposal was the closest to the winning bid, wins the card. And then if multiple players' bids proposals are equally close, a blind bid occurs starting at that price until there is a highest bid. So the two players will write down a number and then do a bid. And then each player's maximum of 16 slots. That's too many, actually, I think. But let me... yeah, that's why we did a absurd number of rounds last time. We're going to do some changes to this. And we'll do some example rounds because I think everyone's going to want them. Okay, so let me do this. Let me make this row have this text and this row have white text, which is correct. And we're just going to copy this down. So probably what we'll plan to do is draft maybe 40 cards. Yeah, Deef, please. Right now, the people that have joined the Discord server, okay, we have Augustus, Cold Lava, and Not Again. And yes, we're auctioning a full play set. Y'all are muted. Just good. Okay, if we have 8 people, yeah, somewhere. We'll see how we're doing after 40 cards. I'm guessing that's going to take us an hour, even though it's supposed to take like 30 seconds. I also need to very quickly do a code transfer in a very dumb way, because I did not push this up to GitHub yet. At least I don't think I did. Opening up my work computer, because I definitely only did work this week. Okay. But, all right. Hey, D, welcome in. Okay, let me go and find where I did this very serious code at, I had a very slow week. I got very into doing the BBC numbers challenge on Countdown. So I would find like someone reposted all the YouTube clips for that. Then I would try and solve the math puzzles in the 30 seconds. I eventually got okay at it. I'm still pretty bad at it though. Okay. Let me send this code over to myself in a somewhat roundabout fashion. What's my best way of doing this? Here we are. Okay. That's quite silly. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we've got 4 people. We honestly might just go with 4 rather than going with 8 just to see how it feels, because this is very much a test thing. But if there's anyone who would like to be part of the auction, please don't hesitate to, to let me know, and I can repost the link in a second if that would be helpful for people. Let me do some stuff. Where are we? Where's my generic netrunner nonsense? I can go in here. That's fine. Yeah, I'll post the link. Actually, you know what? Yeah, give me a second, D, and I'll post the link to the doc in the Discord as well. Okay. So if I do that, okay, so we want to do, let's do, yeah, we'll do, you know what, I'll just generate a list for 80, but we won't do all. We'll just do a much smaller one. Oh my goodness, this is, oh shoot. Wait, why is this not using the, oh, weird. Okay. Okay. So what we'll do, I'll have everyone who's, oh yeah, and I need to, anyone with the link, editor, copy link. For those of you in the Discord, here's the sheet link. You can click on this yourselves. So we've got D, Augustus, Cold Lava, and Not Again. And what you can do is, I think for Corp, fill out, oh wait, oh, it's in the rules sheet. Fill out your name. And it does not matter which order you put yourselves in. Let me put myself here. Actually, yeah, the order really doesn't matter. And for those of y'all in the Discord, I think you should be, if you do unmute, warning, you will go, you might be on stream. Oh, not in this channel. Okay, hold on.
How stream, how goes?
Let me, I don't think stream actually can hear you yet. So that's, nope, that's not the thing still. All right, stream can now hear y'all, I think. Yeah, they should be able to now.
Yeah, I made a really good joke beforehand.
Oh, I had that thing again where you guys are showing up on the wrong channel. I don't know why. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's do. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna ignore this nomination. So okay, so the way this will work, I will draft, and then you all will have 10 seconds to simultaneously enter a proposed price from your remaining cash. So you start with 200, and let's actually, we'll lock it in. We'll say we'll draft 40 cards just to see how it feels, right? So, you know, you can have, there's going to be an average of 5 per card. And I'm going to generate a list, which will be off screen so y'all can't see it. It is set up so that right now it is very naive. It is including 95% of the top 80 cards in Trash or Busto from the Corp side. And it is randomizing them in quarters. So it's going to do the top quartile in the first 40 and the second quartile, or the first 20 and the second quartile as the next. And I'm saying quartiles and then doing that because I could put in 80 instead, in case we're having such a good time that we want to keep going. But I don't think that's the right way to do it, because that's not how a fair auction works. So yeah, let me make sure. That...
Is it intended that we have Trash or Busto up and know what set of cards we're picking from, or should we go blind?
Up to you. They're going to be powerful cards. I think, like, realistically, if you want to have Trash or Busto open, that's totally, I think that's pretty fair. But it's going to have most of the power cards in it, though. I'm already, you know what? Yeah, let's, okay. I'm just going to generate this again to make sure that my code is kind of working, because I'm not seeing a card I'm supposed to see. Okay, let's set this to, sorry, I'm just going to try something. Okay, cool. So I think that was just a weird effect of something. Debugging off screen quietly when literally no one can see. Good, peak good content. Okay. So we'll do this first one we'll do as an example, and we'll give you all a little bit of time. So what we can all do is go over to the Corp auction screen, and the first card is going to be friends in high places. So now you each have about 10 seconds to go and put in an initial bid for what you think friends in high places would go for. And the pool of bids that all four of you enter is the pool of allowable bids of what you can actually spend. Okay, I should probably get a timer out. But so now that all of you have entered, what I'm going to do is select these and turn them black. And so now you can choose to bid either 0 or any of the bids here, and that will be the person who bids the highest here will get the thing. If multiple people all bid 25, if Augustus is one of those who bid 25, he would win. If Augustus chooses not to bid 25 and D bids 25, D put in the highest, so they would win, etc., etc. But that's sort of the idea.
And our bids at this point are public as we're writing them?
Your bids in this part of the sheet should be in white and not public. I don't know what happened there. Okay, I'm going to delete all the entries in there. And then each of you I will give you all, I'll say 15 seconds for now, to put in a bid. Or I guess if when all of you have moved your thing down, I'll assume that's a sign of everyone being done. Okay, so everyone bid 10. And so the rules are blind bid, the highest bid wins. If the player's proposal was closest to the winning bid, wins the card. And so in this case, final bid is 10, and winner is cold lava. Does this show up on the corpse sheet, or am I doing it in the wrong place? Looks like I did it in the wrong place. 10 cold lava. Does that show up now? Interesting. What am I doing wrong? Oh no.
It doesn't look like there's any automation on the corpse sheet, so it might just be manual.
Wait, what? There was so much okay. Hold on. Now I need to check the original sheet and see if there was automation here. Sorry. Okay. That's really weird. I could have sworn there was automation on this. I'll have to go bug Chris. Okay. Okay, so we can. Well, I guess what you have to do, and this is a little bit silly, you have to go and put in the bid and then the card. So let me copy the thing in. And then you can just go and copy this over. Boom. Friends in high places. Cold lava now only has 190 left. Apologies for that taking so long. Okay, so the next card is Global Food Initiative. And your 10 seconds on initial bid starts now. All right. Next up, we have actual bid time. So that starts now. Oh, that's okay. That's very odd. I wonder what's going on there. Why is it doing that? Oh. Wait, what? I'm confused. Is there some level of automation happening over here? Apologies, everyone. This sheet, I'll have to go and bug Chris about this. Oh, okay. Or maybe I just don't have the things right. Okay. Apologies. We'll redo this bidding round. Apologies for the information loss, and hopefully we'll get it right this time around. So I'll do everyone's bids starting now. Okay, that looks like it worked, though we may have lost D's bid. Okay, fantastic. And now, and so D wins the card. So I guess we should probably track here too. But, okay, and then we've got 26. Dear. All right, next up. Wow, this card got up very fast. We have the Hollow Man. You can put in your initial bid now. All right. Looks like we were missing a bid from Augustus. Oh, no. Okay.
I put it in the wrong spot.
Oh, okay. Was it 30?
Was.
Okay. Y'all have 10 seconds to choose your next bid. Or what you actually will bid rather than the panel of bids. All right. So this would be Augustus gets gets the Hollow Man. Did I misspell Augustus? I did. Wow. Good job, Jeff. Yeah, so basically Augustus bid the most and so could guarantee lock grabbing this. So like this bid is, it's a bit of a weird system to some extent where you're trying to like game what you think other people might bid and what you can kind of bait people into bidding. I don't know. We'll see how we get with this. Next up, we have Boom as the next card. So y'all have 10 seconds to go and make an initial bid on Boom. All right. So, yeah, to some extent, just as a note, it's always good to put a number. It can be a silly low number, but putting 0 in this row commits you to nothing. You can always bid 0 down here. But yeah. All right, and then for Boom, we will do a 10-second countdown starting now. All right, I don't know what's going on with this sheet. Maybe we will call this if this is gonna keep going weird like this. All right, so we have Not Again bidding 30, and this is the most, so that means Not Again wins the Boom. And I should probably go and update these. I guess this wasn't automated in part because it looks like it's a pain, but it is, without the automation doing this, it is a bit of a pain, right? So it's Boom. D has won. 26 on GFI. Did I misspell this? I did not. Wow. And then Augustus would have Hollow Man for 30.
So normally it's the person whose name is up on the left who chose the card to go in there.
Oh, I wonder if that's the way it automates. Hold on. Let's see. You mean this thing, this player card?
Well, I guess I was just trying to understand the rows because it's like, is it like here with it's for Augustus and then the card Augustus would have chose was Boom? That kind of like how it would have.
That's the idea. Is that so? Like the way this auction was run with a non-automated draft person. Is that like it would be Augustus's turn to nominate a card to go up for auction. The reason I want to kind of try an automated auctioneer is because that nomination process is the slow step here. Now, some say that slow step might actually be nice because it's just like, you know, this can just fire like really, really quickly. But that makes it hard to stop and think about what your deck is going to be. If that makes sense.
It could make sense to have a final round of non-automated for like 4 cards to get synergy pieces that aren't top 60. But I think the automated is very good, nice early on.
Yeah. Okay. Would you all like to keep going, or do we want to call this experiment for now until we have a better sheet?
I'm fine with the manual.
Okay. Next up is going to be Drago. We've got both, I think, a Boom deck and a Friends in High Places deck could use them. So we've got 10 seconds starting now. I just realized I could do my 10 seconds on OBS so everyone could do it together. All right. We've got some very different bids here. 150, 8, 38, and 40. Give me a second to get the my countdown on the OBS screen up, and then we will go in. So you have a couple extra seconds to think about your bid. Oh wait, can I only do minutes with this one? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I need to get a better script. I need to just learn to write a little bit of Lua. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll just do 10 seconds the old-fashioned way. Or probably if y'all have already entered bets, I guess I can check quickly. No, it looks like you have not yet. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to delete out everyone's boxes, and then you should be able to go and enter bets anonymously. Why are the colors changing? Oh, because you're copying and pasting. I think that might be the problem. If you're copying and pasting from a row above. Or maybe if it's autofilling. I'm not quite sure. All right. Oh, okay. D, could you enter your bid quickly? And we'll just kind of say, oops, on this one. Okay. So in this case, this. Okay. So here, Cold Lava bid the most. So Cold Lava gets Drago. And that is the most expensive card so far. Oh, no, Janktivist. Yeah, so the idea is that this first bid sets up the realm of possible bids. And then the bids below are what people actually bid, with the person who bid the closest up here being the tiebreaker if people bid the same amount. If multiple people then are still tied, then you do some kind of runoff. Oh, you weren't pasting, Daria. Ugh. Oh, I wonder if it was trying to autofill and like match the style, which it might be doing. And D, I like that idea a lot, actually. Long-term thinking, but what if instead of doing the top 80 Treasure Buster cards, do the top 100 to 150, and the player chose between 3 random ones, Spire style. That is probably very interesting, and something that you can automate with a timer as well. I'm actually going to skip the next one because I think it's like a little bit too low power to be interesting yet. So we're going to do a little bit of non-automated auctioneering. Okay, so Cyberdeck Sandbox, you have 10 seconds starting now. All right, that is time. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 12, and 25. All right, you have 10 seconds to bid starting now. Oh, I guess what I could do is I could turn these all white now, right? And that might solve this. Oh, but it's still going to try and match the black style now. Okay. Okay, so no bid from Augustus, so I'm going to fill that in as a 0, I guess. And D gets Cyberdeck Sandbox for 25. And if no one bids on the card, which could become relevant, the card is not available to be drafted by anyone, is the way it works. All right. Next up, we got another fun one. Apparently a lot of NBN cards coming up early here. Hard-hitting news. You have 10 seconds starting now. All right. Bids are 69, 44, 20, and 35. I think these are all very serious bids. You have 10 seconds to choose what you would like to bid for hard-hitting news, and then we're going to maybe update this. Actually, after the 8th card, we'll do a quick update. Ixaron, if everyone bids the same, the person whose initial bid was closest gets the card. So in this case, Daria's bid of 69, like if someone else had also bid 69, Daria would win. But if Daria had instead bid 35, or like if Daria bid 0, and then Augustus and Cold Lava had both bid 35, then Augustus would win because they put in the 35 here. So, okay. I'm going to quickly reconcile these sheets. So, yeah, this. Okay, so did we spend 30 again? Or, no, not again, only has 2 cards here. 69 on hard-hitting news.
I'm going to do it real quick. I'll bid one if I'm not back when bidding starts.
Okay, sounds good. Apologies about that. So, Ixaron, if everyone bids one, then you do a runoff auction process until someone wins. Or everyone bids the same. If everyone bids the same, I think, like 2 times in a row, I think it just goes to the pool. Okay, has everyone just won 2 cards and I don't need to overthink this? No, Augustus only won 1 so far, but that's okay, corp auction, and then we have Cyberdex Sandbox. And we're going to reset, and this is 25, right? Cold Lava has Drago Ivanov for 40. And then, yeah, so these are our 7 bids so far. Okay, I will give Augustus a second to get back. Well, I guess I could put the next card. This is another fun one. This is Museum of History. Y'all have... I'll give you everyone 20 seconds to think about this one, just because to give Augustus a little bit of extra time. Daria, you have to bid one of the 4 numbers on the second bid. It's only if there's still a tie that you can bid a different number. Okay, D. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. We will turn these black. So bids are 20, 60, 50, and 1 on Museum of History. You have 10 seconds to choose what you would like to bid for Museum of History. Okay, yeah, I need to develop another little app thingy, I guess. But here we go. Or figure out what our trick was last time. I think there is a way to get it to not do these auto-completes, because I think that's what's actually doing this, is there's some auto-completing going on. But this would be 20 for Cold Lava. So then we would go and... history for 20. Okay. So D wants to bolt after this. Maybe we will call it here rather than keeping on going. So thank you all for demoing this, and I'll see what we can do to make this smoother, and maybe I'll try and set up an actual auction draft at some point. Though Continentals are probably going to be right upon us and make things quite busy, so it might have to be after Continental season, or maybe in the downtime between Continental season. So I'll post something up. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Like, you can, like, we actually are already seeing people kind of draft into lanes. And the fun thing with, when you get the full cohort of 8, you have multiple people per lane. And then what you'll also start doing is people saying like, oh, I'm worried about this boom hard-hitting news deck. I need to start getting other things out of the pool. In terms of things for going forward with this idea, I think there's a lot of potential modifications, and I'll see what I can make happen. There's hey, should we do this in standard versus eternal? Part of me thinks that eternal is actually the only place where you really have a big enough card pool to do this. Do you do eternal with some ban lists or point lists or something? Maybe. And then, yeah, should you do a wider range of cards? Should you have people select between 2 or 3 cards? I don't know. I think there's going to be some choices to make there. But yeah, I think I think this actually worked out, I think, a little bit better. Like, I actually think there was interesting bidding dynamics even with this mostly automated. Like, the next couple were going to be seamless launch, which D was going to try and take. Gagarin was going to be up, and then Jeeves, and then Titan, and then Bio. I guess I could just it's like I was worried that it was going to be kind of boring, but I think it leads to some interesting things. And with 8 people, you have a lot more kind of jostling over stuff. So yeah, it's Cold Lava wants Gagarin. In a 4-person draft, it's probably easy for each person to just get a lane and stick in it. But then you get to the thing that we discovered when doing the auction draft like 3 years ago or something like that was the strategy was you never put cards you wanted up for auction. You put up cards that other people wanted up for auction so you could make them spend money. Or sometimes you would try and lock in your own stuff. And so I think one of the ideas about an automated auctioneer is people actually spend money on their own deck rather than someone else's deck. But yeah, I don't know. I think this did kind of work out, and probably yeah, we were a little bit slow, but with a better set of hand-holding systems, you could maybe get things to work. The biggest challenge is I know nothing about setting up a website that is continuously updating data to you. So if you know how to do that, and I think that's done via WebSockets, please reach out. I would love to chat and figure out a way to make that work. But I think it is 9 o'clock. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours. I think I'm actually pretty good on what I want to say for tonight. The NBN list felt better than I was expecting, but I also think we got some good rolls as the runner. And I think with that, I'm going to sign it off, and I hope you all have a good night. See you next week, I think. Yeah, next week I should still be around. That will be the prep for, or not the prep, that is going to be like the night before NANPC Boston. So there's a chance I may not be streaming. But we will see. If I'm not streaming, it will be likely because there's a stream for NANPC Boston. So have a good night, everyone, and see y'all next week in some way, shape, or form.